Yo, here's the tale of two star-crossed lovers had to keep their love under covers. The families at war since before they were born. The hatred leading to these two lives torn. But before I go on, let's go back to the start so you can better understand the tale of the broken hearts of a boy named Romeo, a girl named Juliet. He was a Montague, she was a Capulet.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. Their families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.
We start out in Verona, there's a fight and it's gonna blow up. Benny tries to stop them, but the fight just grows until the prince stops the battle between the two foes. Both the servants from the rival crews, one from the Capulets, one from the Montagues. The prince says no fights, don't wanna hear no more. If you dare try to fight, you're gonna see some gore.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. Their families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.
Next row, here's about a party that's going down. The only problem is it's on the Capulet side of town. He knows he's gotta go cause one of the invites is his girl Rosalind, the love of his life. He gets to the party and once he's in, he spots Juliet and forgets Rosalind. The two of them kissed and they knew from that day that they'd end up together somehow in some way.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. Their families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.
Juliet on her balcony, she's seen by Ro. He wants to be a glove upon her hand, don't you know? The guy and the girl have a nice long chat, but our Juliet, she won't leave it at that. She says, Romeo, Romeo, we're forever Romeo. Why are you a Montague? Change your name till then I
Oh,
do.
Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. Their families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.
The two get married by the friar, he's a friend. He thinks that maybe this will make the long feud, and they thought that from now, life would be free and fun. But little did they know, the trouble had begun.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. Their families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.
Mercutio and Ro just walking the town. Little did they know a fight would be going down. Tybalt comes around, a cousin to Juliet. He was as angry as can bull, as angry as can get. He tries to kill Romeo. He's looking for a fight, but the two of them are family. Kill him, Tybalt isn't right. Instead, M-Dog steps up to the plate. Little did he know this would seal his fate. He makes fun of Tybalt, and he shouts, consort. The two fight, and he dies. To make a long story short, Tybalt killed his friend, but the man was still alive, so a sword through his chest did Romeo drive. He fled the scene, yelled, I am fortune's fool, but the act got him banished under the prince's rule.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. Their families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.
Juliet is already upset as it is when her daddy comes in with a new piece of biz. He wants her to marry Paris, a real cool guy, but Juliet says that she would rather die. Romeo's her soulmate, she won't have another man. That's when the friar came up with a master plan. Juliet takes a potion that will make her look dead, and in the morning they'll find her body lying in bed. Romeo would be let in on the scheme so that when she awoke they could live out their dream.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. Their families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.
The whole thing goes just as they planned. She was buried, not married, and the funeral was grand. The whole thing was great. Her and her man could stay wed, but he never heard the plan. He only heard that she was dead. He bought himself some poison and as fast as he could rushed back to Verona, his old neighborhood. He gets to the tomb and sees Paris there. The two fight, and by the end, Paris's blood is everywhere. He finds Juliet's body, and before he can think, consumes every drop of his deadly drink. But the timing was awful. Right when he finished that cup, her potion wore off, and Juliet woke up. She sees her dead husband, and imagine this. Tries to take some poison from his lips with a kiss. When that plan fails, she finds a knife and uses it to end her sorrow-filled life.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. The families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.
Meanwhile, Lady Montague died when she heard about her son, leaving Mr. Montague a family of one. He and the Capulets found their children as a dead pair and decided to settle things then and there. The fights were over, all the hatred gone. They knew they couldn't keep a war going on, for never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, from the start their lives were set. The families were filled with hate, and these two lovers were the puppets of fate.